Yes, I'm off to the hole in the road. I'm walking off school and I'm off to the city, watching telly all night and I'm not looking pretty. See, I got this job downtown, selling knocked off ladies' watches for £1. For a really dodgy man that I met in a dodgy cafe. You know, he said to me, the girl who sold these yesterday wasn't selling very carefully. Police came along and took her and all my watches away. So if you see some coppers, you grab my stuff and leg it, boy, right away. I'll be in the cafe. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way through life. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way through life. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. So it's been a few hours and I haven't sold enough for my bus fare home. Street selling's pretty tough, so I turn on the charm for the lunchtime rush with a smile and a wiggle on my schoolboy touch. So the charm is working in the underground. There's a crowd of men and women gather round, and the watches they are going, the money is a flowing. Think I'll touch a little extra, stick it in my pocket, spend you later. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way through life. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way.
Making his way.
Through life. I'm just a boy from Sheffield,
Making his way.
I haven't sold a watch for an hour and I'm dying for a slash. I've had enough of this, so I'm off for a piss. Then a quick walk back round to the cafe, sitting at his table drinking tea. Looks at me suspiciously, then with a glance at the watch he says, how did you do? He paid me a couple of quid, then he said, would you like to come and work another day? I said I'd come back down on Friday, and to that he said okay. So with £2 in my pocket and another 5 in my shoe, I nipped down to Castle Market where a man who looks like Leo Sayer is selling pots with cockles and prawns. You make me feel like dancing. Then off back to dinner on the Wiggers and then home. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way.
Making his way. Go on, go on, go on.
I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way.
I'm just a boy
from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way.
Making his way.
I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way.
A boy from Sheffield, making his way. From Sheffield, making his way. Making his way. Cheers. From Sheffield, making his way. Okay, we're going to hit pause there because I think that's the end of it, because I think they just go on loop. I remember getting caught out like that before with those tunes. In the back, in the back settings here, like you got these, you can choose tracks to play, and that's a brilliant track. I love that track. But if you're not careful, you can end up listening to a track twice. I still think it's just the same track playing. I've got caught out like that before, so I have to be on the ball. Just try to guess where exactly is the end of this tune, right? So anyway, good evening all. Good evening everyone. I've just put that fucking microphone a little bit away from my stupid hooter of a mouth, so it's not just clipping and stuff like that. And hello everyone. Let's see if I'll check in with the comment section here. There's a few people to say hello to, like actually some heads I haven't seen for some time. I want to say a big hi to StreamYard, who have always come in with their customary how are you doing and all that. And we've got Plant Extracts, who is of course Paul Coddy. Good to see you again, bro. It's been a long friggin' time. Last time I seen you in our chat box, man, Jason was still alive. He was still with us, man. And it's been so long since I've seen you, man. It's you've been on. Obviously, you've been on hiatus, or maybe you've been on a pilgrimage. Maybe you were on a pilgrimage. I don't know. So, James Owen, how are you doing, buddy? Good to see James. I see James regular. I see James very, very regular, like in lots of different places now. And I'm not going to reveal those locations, but you never know where you're going to meet James Owens. He's always around lurking somewhere. So and that's good to know. Who else have we got here going on? Have we got anybody else that I need to say hello? Paula, how you doing, sweetheart? I hope you are well. Sorry, if you sent any emails, I didn't check in on my email now in a few days, so I didn't pick up on any new emails and stuff like that. How you doing, Denny? Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. So, like, everybody's just having a little bit of a banter with each other. So Paul has been finding the light. Good man, Paul. I hope you found the light. Did you find the light? Did you actually find the light? That's the main thing. Assuming there is such a thing as light. I know Einstein, I think it was Einstein, says outside of light nothing else exists, but I'm not sure I trust Einstein and his scientific method. He was a bit of a plagiarist and a con man who stole all his ideas from patents which actually belonged to other people. So I'm borderline when it comes to Einstein and his theories on whether light exists or not. Is it a particle or is it a wave? What if it's none of it? What if it's none of it? In fact, if you listen to the work of the Martin Fisher project, and they'll say, or no, it's not actually. There's a Theodorus Afonso I do follow, and he's got an interesting theory on light, and his theory says that all light is just sound waves in the ether. So. You know what? I don't even think light exists. Mascara, how you doing? How you doing, mate? Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. So lots of chat going on. So hope you all had a good week. So tonight, as far as I know, we have two special guests joining us. We have Darren Anthony, who was, of course, meant to be with us last week, and I knew it. I knew technical issues came up last week, so hopefully technical issue free tonight. That we will have him here at approximately 10:30 to 10:45. But we'll give him a good bit of leeway on it. Very, very interesting chap. And I'm pretty sure that we'll be chatting with Darren fairly regularly, and keeping up on his progress, with his research into the Irish Constitution. But tonight, I don't think we're going to be over focused on the Irish Constitution, although I'm pretty sure I will have a few questions for him on it. But still, and then we have someone else is supposed to be joining Darren Anthony, which is a gentleman called Donnacha. Is it Donnacha? Is he? I'm not going to. Let's just be careful that I get his name correct. Is he Delaney? Oh God, I don't know. This is back in the chat history or something like that. Back in the chat history. God, can't find it. But it doesn't matter. Donnacha should be joining. I was watching a very, very interesting video the other day with Donnacha and Darren. And so tonight we're going to be hopefully touching on some of these topics as well too, which will include mental health and suicide and maybe finding solutions and ways of coming together as a people to take care of each other, taking care of the young and the old at the same time. But I'm pretty sure this is going to happen anyway. I do. It is a topic that does need to be discussed. But I have total faith. I have total faith in humanity that we will find a way to navigate this crazy, absolute crazy bullshit world of misinformation, and that's what we've got. That's exactly what we have got these days, right? It's just it's impossible to discern fact from fiction in the modern world. Absolutely impossible. If you're trying to dissect fact from fiction in the modern world, forget about it. Like there was that story, right? As an example, right? As an example, what we had that story there about a week ago. Um, the the little girl, right? The little girl whose name, if I remember correctly, is Lil Tay, right? Lil Tay, right? And apparently she had died along with her brother, right? Apparently the two of them died suddenly and unexpectedly, right? It turns out that they didn't die, right? It turns out that they didn't fucking die, right? So what apparently happened was that their Instagram account got hacked, and some nefarious actors put up a post saying that they had died. And of course, all the MSN ran with it. Like, and me doing my due diligence as I normally do, like when I see a story, I just don't take it and run with a fucking story. I will actually search out 3, 4, 5 different locations where just to verify that it is actually true, right? It turned out it was a load of bollocks, man. Just her account got hacked, man. So Lil Tay is alive, right? Lil Tay. Um, Let me see if just in case anybody's wondering who the fuck Lil Tay is. Lil Tay. I wonder. I wonder if I'll even spell her name right. Give you. Give you. Good God, no, they're not Little Tay. They're not Little Tay. Hold on, let's go back. Yeah, this is her here. So just so that you kind of like know who I'm talking about. So this is Little Tay here. She's always seen like with lots of money and stuff like that. This is her thing. Although I don't think she's been doing very much recently, and I think there's a load of shit going on in her family. Obviously, like the little girl probably has loads of problems. Like I think there's a custody battle going on, and there's rows going on between the mother and the father over who should have custody, and it's probably more like who should have custody of her money, like because obviously she's made quite a bit of money, but. Alas, I don't look at her. They're just surrounded with no. Although I don't think they don't look real to me now. Like, but anyway, but that's Lil Tay. So it turns out that she's alive after all, and she didn't die because you know this is the world that we're living in just at the moment, man. It's nearly impossible to tell fact from fiction. Nearly impossible, and. I get caught out all the fucking time. Now, thankfully, I didn't announce that on this show. I didn't announce it on the last show that we done. But what I did do is I announced it on Cookie and Pete's show. I think it was on Monday previous week, Monday week, like previously, and they ran with it. So, like so thankfully I didn't mention it on this show. But anyway, I'm kind of glad that she's still alive. Even though I'm not overly invested. I couldn't give a fuck, man. Really couldn't give a fuck. Like, when you're living in a crazy world, you just got to accept crazy for what it is, like just crazy, right? So, but that's the level. That's the level we're at now. Like when it comes to sort of like sourcing information and trying to figure out truth from fiction, it's gone very hard, right? So. How you doing, Johnny, in Spanish? Have we got anybody else here that I may have missed? No. So far, so good. So far, so good. So we're up to date. So we may have some new people in the chat here tonight. I believe that we may have some new people here tonight, and who may be unfamiliar with Racoons news, and so I think it's appropriate just to make mention that like this is not my channel, right? This channel actually belongs to the people here. For some strange reason, I ended up here on the fucking screen coming on a weekly basis like a demented bee, because nobody else would step up and do it, right? And look, nobody else had access, right? It's just one of those things. There was a work in progress before Jason passed away there a few months ago. Jason would have been the main man on the show, and he passed away there suddenly and unexpectedly, just a couple of months back, and it's just like it's taken its toll here. Like, so he's sadly missed. I'll tell you what, I sadly miss him like big time. Like, I often think, I just sometimes I wonder, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, you know, I know it's a dirty job and someone's got to fucking do it. Like, why did I end up here? Why the fuck did I end up here? It's nuts, like fucking nuts. But poor old Jason, man. So for anybody who's new to the channel tonight, so who's tuned in to see Darren Anthony and Donnacha, just so that you know, like, you know, this is really not my channel. It's like this channel belongs to the people here who have been the long-time patrons and who've been here on the channel long before I ever arrived. You know, even though I knew Jason way back, like, and you know, I knew the lads way back. Like, we go back a long fucking way. Because we've all been into this broadcasting crack for a long time, even though we weren't in touch with each other like constantly, like, but we knew of each other, like, you know, we did know of each other. So so sadly we're missing the main man here these days, and the poor old folks here in the chat have to put up with me on a weekly basis. So that's the crack. So you kind of like have a little bit of an insight into the background, but I wanted to let people know I've been trying to contact Danielle again, and it doesn't seem like she's seeing my messages on Telegram, so we may have to sort of like get Dinny on the case maybe and contact Danielle so that we can just, at least if we can get, it's not even a matter of securing the channel, it's just a matter of just having login information so that, like, if anything goes fucking wrong, at least we can fix it, or if we need to change shit around. Yeah, Denny, yes, absolutely. Let's not forget Andy. Because because that goes unmissed. Because Andy was the original man, right? Andy was the original man. Yeah, I knew Andy quite well. And he used to broadcast when I was on PIR and MSI way years ago, when we just used to do radio. All we done was radio back then, because like nobody had a computer capable of doing video, and we didn't even have internet connections which were capable of doing. But so we done radio. That's what we fucking done, man. That's exactly what we fucking done. And so let's not forget Andy as well too. Like, you know, he would have been the originator of the channel, and of course, let's not forget, of course. Who was it came up with the name for the channel? God. Sometimes I just take these fucking brain farts. Sometimes I take these fucking brain farts, and I can't remember the names of people anymore. The baldy lad who used to play the reggae music and all that sort of fucking stuff. Come on, Tony fucking Hurst. That's the one, Tony Hurst. And there was a big kaboom. On PIR, MSI, and freaking everybody got scattered to the wind and stuff like that. And Racoons News was born, and then Jason arrived, and Andy left. And I feel like this is a very, very dodgy episode of fucking Doctor Who, or dodgy season of Doctor Who, for some strange reason. Like, every so often, right, you got these various seasons, like, where the Doctor changes face, right? So the Doctor has changed faces again on fucking Racoons News. So I'm the new Doctor here. Good God, man. Fucking hell. What the fuck is going on, man? It's like nuts. So yeah, no, Tony's a cool chap. Like, yeah, very, very knowledgeable in lots of things, especially when it comes to shrubberies and stuff like that, you know, and especially beautiful smelling shrubberies. And yeah, that's for sure, Paul, man. That's for sure, Paul. Tony was a good lad. And I have no doubt there was loads of politics going on behind the scenes and stuff like that. But like, I try to stay out of the fucking politics as much as possible these days, if I fucking can, man, because it's such a waste of time, man, such a waste of energy, and all you get is fucking division, infighting. Is oh come on, man, look, surely there's got to be something better to be fucking doing with life. Mascara's saying Andy's best line ever. Yeah, you've got a choice. Do you want a punch in the face or a kick in the bollocks? Holy fuck. Yeah, absolutely. That sounds like fucking nuts. Actually, that reminds me of a goddamn story. I'm not even fucking set up here. Really not set up at all. I've got a brilliant story when it comes to bollocks, right? It's like, holy shit, man. This is gonna fucking kill you. Hopefully I fucking saved it now. Hopefully I fucking saved it. Yeah, I did. Good man, Jim. Good man, Jim. He did save it. Right. This was one of the. I'm going to sort of like rob a moniker from what's your man's name? Alex Christo. Fuck you, Alex Christo. Fuck you from. From the Duran, right? He's a right bollocks, man. He's a, but anyway, so he had a term called clown world, right? So this particular story sort of like comes into the realm of clown world, right? Wait till you fucking catch this out. So basically, we had a trans Muslim woman demands ex-lover return amputated testicles from his refrigerator. Right? Okay. So there she is. There, fine-looking Muslim woman. You know, definitely a keeper. And obviously, like she's got some sort of. That looks like a biosafety bag or something like that with a few warning signs on it, like. What's wrong with those testicles, I wonder? So, a Michigan trans Muslim woman is suing her former boyfriend to retrieve her balls that are sitting in his refrigerator. Brianna Kingsley says, William, ski. Forgive the bastard. I can't do those names. Sounds Polish, actually. What? Yeah, okay, anyway, I'll try. I'll practice later. Is holding her testicles and won't let them go. She wants her balls back. I mean, holy fuck, right? What sort of a fucking arsehole would steal a woman's balls, right? It's just not fucking on, man. You know, in these days and ages, like, you know, look, back in the fucking day, you wouldn't fucking go near a woman's balls, right? You just didn't fucking do it, man. You know, you wouldn't touch them, right? You just wouldn't touch a woman's balls, right? It's like, holy shit, man. So when I see stories like that, I just have to wonder, what the fuck is going on in this goddamn world? How you doing, Steve, mate? You're joining in for the balls story time hour. We're just discussing feminine balls here, and this strange sort of like this strange proclivity with males to be grabbing women's balls, right? It's just not on, man. I think I bet he can't find his cervix. I'd imagine he might have a bit of trouble finding that cervix. Like, I'd imagine he'd have a bit of trouble trying to keep it open. Going by what I fucking learned, like, you know. But I was just thinking today, like, when it comes to, you know, I mean, there's a lot to be said for the, how you doing, John Smith? There's a lot to be said for the Holy Bible, right? And perhaps there should be more commandments in the Bible, you know, like, along with like not coveting thy neighbor's wife and all that. Like maybe the 11th commandment should be, thou shalt not covet thy woman's balls, right? You know, have we gone so bad? Have we gone so far as a race that we don't realize that just leave the girl's balls alone, right? They just leave them alone. It's like, but anyway, apart from that, like there may be some other things. So the Michigan man who identifies as a Muslim woman has filed a legal claim to retrieve his. There's something weird going on here with this article, right? There's something really weird going on, just so that you can see it, right? Something really weird going on here. A Michigan man who identifies as a Muslim woman has filed a legal claim to retrieve his amputated testicles from his ex-boyfriend's refrigerator. So, are we getting some... is the gateway pundit here misgendering this woman? I don't know. I think they should be a little bit more careful, especially like considering that this chick, right? This chick, Brianna, right? Defendant retains possession of my surgically extracted testicles preserved in a mason jar kept in the fridge next to eggs. Right? Eggs? What type of eggs? Hold on. The plot thickens. Demand immediate return of my human remains specimen and damages of $6,500. So 40-year-old Brianna Kingsley wrote in an affidavit against 37-year-old William, according to a report by Redox. And so there you go. So she's suing him as well. So so she wants her balls back and she wants nearly fucking $7,000 for it as well too. So anyway, that's the fucking state of affairs when it comes to women's balls, right? It's like, so if you take anything from that story, just lads, just be careful. Like, just be careful when you're storing your woman's balls. And if you do separate, it's probably best just to give their balls back to them, right? And not create a fuss, or it might cost you more fucking money than you planned, right? But like, I'm wondering what type of eggs were they being stored beside, like. These days it's hard to fucking know, right? It's hard to fucking know. Mascara saying, I identify as a giant. My pronouns are fee, fi, fo, and fum. Oh, wicked. And Paul is identifying as a donkey. My pronouns are he-haw. I think I said hello to John. How you doing, John? May, if I didn't know, I think I did. Stephen said, I think the most repeated line in the Bible is, I fear not. And that's true, and it's very, very important, like, especially, that's a good point, Steve, a very, very good point, especially in this world where you're constantly being kept in a state of fear. That's the plan, right? But look, that doesn't work on us. That shit doesn't fucking work on us. It might work on a fucking large majority of the population, but it actually doesn't work on us because, like, we don't give a fuck. Couldn't give a flying fuck about anything, man. No fear here. That's for sure. John is asking, are you allowed to say woman these days? That's questionable. That is very, very questionable. Very, very questionable. But I have to say, it's very, very hard to know. Actually, there was another one. Did you see the new the Miss Thailand? I don't know whether anybody has seen the new Miss Thailand, which is probably worth taking a quick look at. It's probably worth taking a quick look at the new Miss Thailand. Let's see. As I try to improve at using this software and work my way around it. Oops. Do you know what I forgot? I need to get my audio sorted here. I need audio on the case, or you won't be able to hear it. Connect audio jack to speaker, pulse in. I have a fucking weird way of doing this. Like,
ขอแสดงความยินดีครับขอเรียนเชิญคุณอมรรัตน์วิชุพงศ์ครับผู้บริหารแบรนด์คอนแทคเลนส์พริตตี้ดอร์ได้เป็นเกียรติในการมอบสายสะพายและป้ายรางวัลครับมั่นใจว่าตรงใจและถูกใจกับหลายๆท่านที่อยู่ในที่นี้และทางบ้านเช่นเดียวกันครับอุ้มบุญหมายเขา This is your best fighter รางวัลพิเศษรางวัลแรกในค่ำคืนนี้ครับเธอจะได้รับสายสะพายประจำตำแหน่งและเงินรางวัล 10,000 บาทครับ
Well, there you go. There you go. That is the new Miss. It is new Miss Thailand, yeah. And not just Miss Trans Thailand 2023. So, very, very odd. Very, very odd. Like when you look at that sort of like footage, right? When you look at that footage, it was like, holy shit, was that an operation that went wrong? Okay. One would be forgiven for thinking that was an operation that went wrong. It was like she went in to get her. No, let's see if we can't stop misgendering here, because it could be very dangerous. We could lose the channel if we misgender, so especially Miss Thailand. But she went in for an operation anyway. I'll just use it because I don't know it's pronouns, so we'll just use it to be on the safe side. Went in to get the fucking wiener chopped off, right? And woke up after the operation and realized one of its legs was gone. He says, "Ha! No! You were supposed to take the other leg off, the dangler. You got to take the. Okay. We get right this time. We get right this time. Okay, so okay, put her to sleep. Put her to sleep. So went to sleep, and anyway, she woke up, and the other leg was gone. She said, no. I meant dit leg. Chop, that leg. Why you not say? Well, don't worry, we get right this time. I was like, oh shit, man, what the fuck happened there? Like, unreal. And look, I shouldn't be making fun of this. Like, God only knows what happened to her. Like, it could be blood clots or something like that, from something that might be 100% safe and effective. Who knows? You wouldn't know. Like, but alas, that's Miss Trans Thailand 2023. So I had to say, like, I was looking at the video. Like, none of the women looked very happy. Like, they had the plastic smiles, right? They had the plastic smiles and stuff like that. Like, you can't imagine them to be that happy, like, about it. Like, that should have been them putting the little sash on, right? That should have been their sash, So, but it went to a trans. So, but then again, like, a lot of the way it works is, like, you got to smile or you'll be demonized, and that's just the way it fucking works, man. Kuma Bowles. That's an interesting name. Hola. Mahola for the warm welcome. I'm quite a amateur with these features. Land of my forefathers, Martin Naughton, left in 1890, age 15. I'm the first to enjoy island hopping twice thus far. Welcome, Kuma. I told you we were probably going to see some new names in here tonight. Hello, lie detector. Let's go back a little bit, just make sure that I didn't miss anybody. God, so shy. You little fucker. My dream girl, easy to kick around. She definitely won't be kicking you back, right? She might bite your balls off, though, You wouldn't know. Be careful there. Holy shit, man. Right, so it looks like I'm up to date. As I said, like, I've been trying to keep a little bit more focused on the chat these days, because that's one of the areas that I'm totally lacking in, because I do be a little bit slapdash when it comes to the chat sometimes, trying to keep up with it all and fit in news stories and bits and pieces like that. So I'm trying to change that aspect of my attitude and try to get a little bit more interactive, like, because I think Dr. Rubber would be proud of me if I was a little bit more interactive, like, So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to prove Robert that I can fucking do it, right? That's just the way it's going to be. Lie detector's low down bum. We shouldn't be taking the piss out of the poor dear. God knows what happened to the legs. I don't know what the fuck happened to the legs. That's unreal. It would have been interesting just to look up the story and just see what was the backstory there. Like, probably a sad story, like, And holy God, Holy crap, look who has just arrived. We have our special guest, Darren Anthony. Holy God, let me get him in here. Let me get him in here. Holy crap. There you go, Darren.
How's it going?
All sound here, lad. All sound, man. How's yourself?
Good stuff. I've been listening there. I've been listening for the last few minutes there. You're very wild. I can hear my
Oh, sorry. Do you know what's wrong there? That's my fault. And holy shit. Let me fix that. Just that should be okay now.
Yeah.
Say so. Is that better?
Oh, happy days. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Hey.
How's it going?
All good, man. All good. Look at despite the craziness of the world, like we have to look on the bright side, and just look, not let the fucking shit get us down, And I have a feeling that like we're gonna have something to talk about tonight when it comes to like,
yeah, loads to talk about, yeah.
Yeah, indeed. So I'm just going to introduce Darren to the audience here now. Now, I don't know Darren that well. I only met him maybe a couple of months ago, right? Just through text messaging on Telegram, right? Now, I was following his work when it comes to basically the Irish Constitution, and he was highlighting particular articles in the Irish, and not just particular, like loads and loads of different articles in the Constitution, and you were quite hard on. Sorry, Darren?
It's actually a certain constitution that I talk about. It's not just any constitution. It's actually our 63 article Cló Gaelic text on bunreact, which actually stands for primary law. Our full Cló Gaelic text. So bunreact is law and bun means primary. So in our old Cló Gaelic text, not the Irish. So it happens fooled with the language, and it's all about like text, the meaning of it. Bunreact actually means primary law, not constitution, which people think it means.
Right, so I'm with you now. No, yeah, that's an interesting point, because I never realized also that there was also an Irish script, which you're talking about here. We're talking about Cló Gaelic, Cló Gaeilge, which is a very, very particular
Cló Gaelic font, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Cló Gaelic text. I'll show you now if I have some here. I have one of them here. Here we go. So this is the book that I'd normally be speaking about. It's on bunreact, 63 article, Cló Gaelic.
It's not coming in that well. It's a little bit, just a little bit lazy, Darren.
How is that?
Yeah, I can barely. There's a bit of a shine coming off. There's a little bit of a shine coming off.
Yeah. Anyway, I can't really see the short things up here, so. But there's a lot of videos. There's a website people can go to if they want to learn more. Go to www.bunreact1937.ie, and all the information is there. So I'm not really going to spend too long talking about it anyway. To be honest with you, Jimmy, there's a lot of other stuff that's kind of more, I suppose, more that need to be focusing on more, like ourselves. And for me, over the years I've got in this constitution. All the constitutions here from bunreact, all the air written.
Your audio was breaking up a little bit there, Darren. I'm not sure what's going on. It is, yeah. It's not steady.
Okay.
It's breaking up quite a bit now.
Just let me see if I remove this, right? See, is it any better? Now, how is that, Jimmy?
Oh, we're getting an echo now. We're getting an echo now, Darren. Yeah, you're on. You're back on speaker. So,
Stay with me.
yeah, no, it's okay. Don't panic. Don't panic. You're probably not used to tuning into shows like this. So,
How was that?
we'll give it a go. You look like a man that's going to go diving underwater. It's like, yeah.
How was that? Is that a little bit better?
No, it's just that it was breaking up. I wonder if it's an internet connection issue.
My internet seems to be fine, Jimmy.
Okay. We'll work with it anyway. If we'll work with it for now. You don't have to hold it.
so
you don't actually have to hold it up to your mouth that close. But whatever's causing the breakage, it's not the closeness of the mic to your mouth. There's just maybe a connection issue. So.
All right, you let me know if it's any worse, and I could switch over. Yeah.
It seems okay for now.
Sound. So as I was saying, Jimmy, I lost myself for a few years, man, studying the constitutions, you know. I really got deep into the bunreact, you know, studying a lot, getting deep into old scripts, old, you know, and I lost track of and who I was, you know. I know all about bunreact, I know all about constitutions. There's a lot more to me than that. And I've lost myself in that way. I'm not the only. So recently, I've tried to find ways of.
Oh, do you know what people are asking? Darren? People are asking if you've got the YouTube open still.
I have my YouTube open on. Hang on, just let me check now.
Yeah, maybe turn that off and.
There. Let me see now.
No, it's not the YouTube.
Open on the laptop beside me. Maybe is Danny.
Yeah, I've got people flaming me here to Jimmy, read the fucking chat, like, you know. So people are asking, has he got the? Yeah, Steve is saying there's echo as well too. Donnacha is in the chat as well. Geojitch lads, how you doing, Donnacha? So yeah, we're still getting those audio issues. Maybe if Donnacha would arrive in and might take some of the stress off, and while you see what we can sort out, like. But yeah, so it's not the YouTube then. Now we can't hear you at all, Darren. Oh, hold on, he's muted himself. You've muted yourself there, Darren.
I haven't got the YouTube open at all, brother.
That's okay. We'll soldier on. We'll soldier on. So what you were saying then? That like you've kind of moved on then from sort of like constitution is no longer your primary focus. Like, and I was listening to that video of yourself and Donnacha there the other day. It was very, very powerful. Like where you talk about mental health and stuff like that, like how people have been affected, and we have to be careful, you know.
Oh, big time. So we're trying to bring it back to the communities, you know, bring it back to our local areas. And, you know, we done a bit of busking a few weeks ago and the elderly people were crying out for it. Like we singing a few ballads, you know, and the elderly were loving it. Like they were stopping. There was this old guy on the street who must have been in his 90s. He was like, he's waving his hand and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. We're trying to take it back to our local cities. Our old folks, especially, are getting a hard time right now. Have been for a while, let's say. So we're trying to, you know, bring it back to them, and by helping an older person every day, you're not just helping them, but you're also helping yourself. You know, you're helping your own mental health by getting out there and getting active. And you know, we're going to be doing this in circles. We have some storytelling morning for kids. Irish mythology, proper story. So we have dancing classes. So we have a few things to keep us positive, keep us going, you know.
Yeah, indeed. I found myself too. It's just a matter of just taking time to speak with the older people too, as well. It's like it's like I meet the older people all the time because of where I am. I live in a very, very rural area, and and the only people I see in general are kind of like older aged people, like, and they love. They're crying out for just a little bit of interaction. They're really missing the interaction because, like, they're noticing now the change that's been going on, basically, like over the last number of years, where people don't have time for each other anymore. Like a chap that I was talking to the other day was explaining to me like how years ago you could meet and talk with maybe 10 or 12 people in his local little village, which is Lisryan, which is just up the fucking road from me here. And now you're lucky if you see one every couple of days that will stop and actually say something to you, you know?
Yeah. That's it. Like it's different. Our communities are totally different now than what they used to be. Our local, you know, when I was younger, you knew everybody. You know, in your area, you knew everyone. Everybody knew you. Now it's different. You used to leave your keys in the doors back then. You remember that time? I'm sure you do.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, even men are not safe walking the street now. Like, you know, even men are getting
I know. Yeah. It's pretty tough. And just so the chat. Just so the chat
go ahead,
I'm still getting messages in. People are wondering about telling you to turn your YouTube off. His YouTube is off. Like we've just got some audio. We've just got some audio issues. I'm not sure what they are exactly. Like, you know. So don't panic. We'll work with it.
Can I see this now? Yeah. Right.
I want to take a look. Say Cyril Daly. And Cyril is saying, so chat, don't dictate. Good point. Tell the chat to shut up, like, and just listen. You know Cyril, do you?
Cyril, thank you.
Good man.
Cyril, yeah. God bless, man.
I told you we were going to get some new heads in here tonight, and
yeah, it's good. I'll have to try and get this audio sorted so people can hear what we're saying, Jimmy.
Yeah, it's a little bit flaky at times, Darren, to be honest. And
right.
But at times,
just let me get the other earphones. You rock on there, Jimmy, and I'll be back.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But at times it's great. At times the audio is great, Darren. But just sometimes it seems to flake out for some reason. And so I'm not sure.
It could be my phone, maybe.
You're on the phone, is it? Right.
Yes, I'm on my phone, Jimmy. I tell you what, I'm going to cross over to my laptop here, right? Just leave it with me for a second, yeah?
You're fine, yeah. You work away. You work away. Well, so there we go. There's Darren Anthony, like, and I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry about the audio issues. Sometimes these things happen. Like, it could be the phone. Well, it's like I wouldn't fancy doing this sort of work on a phone either. I really wouldn't. I much prefer to be on the computer. You got that little bit of extra power and stuff when you actually need it, like, you know. But there you go. Like, I thought we were going to be talking about Constitution tonight as well too. Like, but obviously, like, Darren is focused a lot more on the mental health and stuff these days, and I think we all should be as well too. It's kind of like an important aspect of keeping sound. That's one of the beauties about this channel here. Like, and it's not the channel; it's everybody here. It's like we keep each other fucking going, man. It's like this is my fucking family here. This is part of what keeps me fucking going every week. Like, is knowing that I have the sound people that I know and trust. And I meet you all in loads of different places. I meet you in several different channels. I meet you over on Steve's channel. I meet you over at Cookie and Pete's, and we see you on Robert. And we keep each other fucking going. We keep our fucking heads in balance, and we keep each other fucking sane in these mad times. And how are you doing, Donnacha? Nice to meet you, mate.
Dear great, Jimmy. How are you, man? How are you? Good to meet you.
Oh, good. You too, mate. You good.
Yeah,
And your audio.
I'm a little bit late coming in. I was just watching a bit of the audio there. It's a bit echoey, but I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
Darren should maybe try to take the headphones off, Darren.
No, we did try that. We did try that, and then his speakers were coming through. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. It's
That's all.
he's moving on to the laptop now, anyway. So
All right, sound.
so tell me, Donnacha, are you also into constitutional matters? And
I would be. I would be, of course. Yeah, I do believe it exists. I believe in 1937, in that moment in history, the book was enacted. But I like to leave it at that, because I know there are other people who have different ideas and different theories, and I don't like to get into the shouting match of whose solution is better. I'd rather try and do something to get all the men and women who feel that the government needs to fall and the system needs to stop now to come together instead of doing dossiers on each other and doing slanderous things to each other. I think some people need to raise above it, and hopefully in time men and women will see that there are men and women out there looking for the betterment of the nation. Simple as that. It's not about monetary gain. It's not about being right. It's not about being smarter than other people. Because we're all learning every day, you know. And nobody has all the answers. But the activism field seems to be splintering off into different telegrams and online groups and different cliques, and it's quite sad to see. In a day and age when we need freedom-loving, wise, mature, understanding people with some empathy, who realise that lots of people out there are suffering trauma right now. All of us are. Some people are dealing with it day in, day out, be it with disabilities or sick children or sick family or pains in their joints or, bad hearts, bad heads, bad health. And I think some of us need to understand that we, the people of Earth, includes everybody. Includes the people you don't agree with. It includes people who have other opinions and other ways of thinking. But once they're non-violent and once they're peaceful, they have to be respected, even if you don't agree with them, So I just feel the toxicity of the online world is causing great damage to people's mental health, people's focus, and lots of activists seem to be getting locked into their little echo chambers with their supporters and thinking that everything they say and do is the right way to be, and nobody's perfect, So been running around the country for the past few years trying to find some good people who would in reality network and give up their time, day in, day out. It's a way of life, and to try and connect with people who, like, I can't understand now with all the activism that's going on. I can't think of really any people's assembly, really, where people are welcome to come once they are aware of the corruption and the criminality that's going on in the state, and that we want to try and stop it now. Our parents didn't stop it. Charlie High and Co. It's rolled on, and now it's their turn. My dad's 75 now, and my dad says, "Dennis, there are no men in Ireland." I tried to protest in Ballymun in the 80s and early 90s, and it was women. Generally, the women come out. The men would rather drink beer and watch football. They're in a stupor. So, it's a hard task. And there's lots of lovely people out there. I've met some lovely people, and I try and, if I can, I try and seek the positive, the goodness out of the people, and try and stay away from what they do that does not sit right with me, because what I do does not sit right with many people. Not everybody's going to like everything you do or say. So people just need to grow up a little bit, realise what's at stake here. We have a corrupt nation, state, all the way straight through to Europe, in cahoots with the WEF, the UN, their American friends, their Jewish friends. So we have a big problem here, and I just want to get to the point where we can draw a line in the sand and say, right, enough is enough. In terms of
For some reason, Donnacha, everybody's saying that there's a fucking echo. I'm here looking in the background for what might be causing it, and there's nothing different on my fucking end.
I don't. I'm just on the phone now, so I'm not using
the
any special
audio is
microphones.
spoiling it. What the fuck is going on, man? I can't see anything fucking wrong on this end, man. There's nothing different than I normally do every week. Like, and we do be in after chats 24/7 here all the time. We never get echoes. Never get echoes.
Yeah, well, you're using YouTube as well, so remember that, you know. YouTube kicked me off there maybe three months ago. I was doing a few laid back in lives, I called them. I was just doing phone, like what you were doing, just trying to stay connected with people and send a bit of content out. But in the end, Facebook, YouTube, and like I preach peace and love, you know. I'm a peace and love warrior. Like at the end of it, I do want justice. I want justice, but I'd hate to see our people and our nation degrade our quality of life by going to violent means when I don't think it needs to be. I don't think it needs to be violent. You know, I think we're a wise nation and we're different than all the rest. France burns itself down. America burns itself down. There's, you know, different parts of the world. They seem to protest by burning their own towns and their own cars and their own people's stuff. And we don't tend to do that. And I think there may be a risk of that happening with this immigration policy that the state are using at the moment. I think that's the ultimate goal. I think they'd like to see civil unrest, you know.
That's exactly what I'm thinking as well too, Donnacha. They seem to be pushing.
It would be one of my fears. I had a vision there about a few months ago, and I just had a vision. I don't know if you've seen that video in, I think it was Ballyfermot a few months ago, where the young lads were ramming the police and having great crack, you know. And they're not really community police out in the working class areas, you know. They would be the enemy to a lot of people. Let's be honest about it. The way they conduct themselves, and especially in the poorer areas, you know, it's different if you live in Dalkey or Killiney or whatever. But I got a vision that night of, and it's kind of happened in Finglas there last week in Erin's Oil, and there's been a few incidences, and I just think it might come to a point where there might be some vigilante justice when a sex crime is committed against a young Irish girl. And the guards don't come for 6 hours, and that's just my fear. And I believe it will happen. I don't know to what scale, if it's going to be a big event or whatever. But
we've always had issues like with sex crimes anyway in the country, even before immigrants arrived. Like, but the fact that like we've got so many people in that we don't know their background, like we don't know, like, and many are wanted, like there's many that I've seen over the last year or two who are actually wanted for sex crimes in their own country. Like, what are they doing here? It's like we had that incident there, was it the other week, in that little girl in Finglas, right? That little was it Finglas, where she was chased into a football park by two,
into the Gaelic pitch, in Finglas, up where Christy Dignam's burial procession went past the same Gaelic club there a few weeks ago. So it's the local club in Finglas Village, and what we're seeing is it's a systematic corruption overload, and all tentacles of the state aren't functioning to they're not the capacity. None of them are really functioning at all. If you include the immigration, the schools, the hospitals, Tusla. It seems to be, I wonder what the straw that breaks the camel's back will be. I don't know. And I'm just I've decided to kind of stay away from the online world. I went back to an old phone there the other day as well, you know. I've been hanging around
really,
I've been hanging around with Darren a little bit because we were doing a bit of work in the bunreact group, you know. There was a few of us in a Telegram group, in the bunreact group, and I remember maybe last year I was part of a group of lads called We the People. They have a platform there, We the People. I was part of the initial setup of that group, you know, and I was thrown out of that group. when I brought the subject of bunreact onto the We the People, they thought I was trying to sabotage the platform, let's say. What I was trying to do was say, isn't this worth talking about? Maybe. Shouldn't people know about this? So then, a couple of weeks ago, I went for a meeting with Tommy Murphy of Ireland's First and a couple of other heads, just to bounce heads off each other. They wanted to hear a bit about the Constitution, and then the bunreact group expelled us from that group from talking to them. So it's amazing. You get thrown. How are you, Emer? How are you? You get thrown off a journalistic platform for trying to bring information regarding the Constitution that we never knew existed. And then you get thrown out of the bunreact group for talking to an up-and-coming political party, trying to educate them in the fact that we have a Constitution, And it's a mad arena to be in, the activism arena, It's a very, very, very bipolar scene. I don't understand that at times, I think a lot of people are hooked on the internet. I think we have a big problem with the internet. I think we need to address that as a people, even if a few of us can realise that it is a very, very, very addictive thing, and it does take control of your brain. The algorithms feed you what they want to feed you in the morning. They put you in bad mood, good mood. They stop showing you feeds of close friends and giving you whatever they want to give you. And from the crack of dawn till last thing at night, people are giving their minds to this algorithm, and it's basically AI. And they know about it, and they fight about the chip, the mark of the beast under the skin, and they carry this chip around on them all day, every day. We know about data harvesting, and we know about child development and teenage development with phones. I was 18 when the first phone came out. It's a Motorola one with a flip.
The big block, the big brick, yeah.
So I've witnessed the phones becoming a really, really an integral part of people's lives, and I'm kind of against it. I don't love technology. I'd rather, have a fire and be meeting people regular in the evening and maybe having a sing-song. So that's what we're trying to instigate, I suppose, where me and Darren are. We're trying to step away from the online activism, so to speak. Not even activism. It's not activism. It's a bitch fest, one group or one people slagging another group, and sure, look, we're going to get nowhere. We're all composing foils on each other and sending to the guards, which does happen. I've seen it with my own eyes. Independent wannabe politicians composing foils on other activists and basically hanging them out to dry and wanting to send this to the guards, and it's just not good. It's not good. It's not warrior-like behaviour, We need leaders to step forward now. I'm not saying I'm a leader or anything like that, but I would encourage. I've been on the journey the past few years to find some really, really what I would see to honestly be, to me, good men and women that I could get behind and push. I mean, I don't want to be talking about all this stuff all the time. I'd rather be off writing poetry or take me missus for a picnic or writing music or, doing really artistic good things. But with the way the nation is, it's hard to turn the noise down to get down to the nitty gritty of playing music and writing poetry when you see old folks getting killed. You see people getting very sick from experimental injections.
Yeah.
Tussler locking up Bridget Scanlon again for exposing them, tearing her family apart.
Who's that lady now? Who's Bridget Scanlon?
Bridget Scanlon is a woman from Carlow. She would have been hanging around with Angela Ray about when I started. I used to work for the HSE until the COVID came along, And I'd always go to some gatherings, some protests, just to check it out, just to see what's going on here. But then when COVID came along, then I said, I can't be living like this. I don't let anybody tell me what to do. It's just as simple as that. I've lost many jobs for it. I've lost many friends for it. I've lost many groups for it. And I don't mean that in a hard man's way, but that's my freedom. I do what I want to do. I take the advice of my missus and my mother and my friends, but ultimately, I'm my own man, and I don't let anybody tell me what to do. Especially if it feels wrong, If I feel it's beneficial and it's helping people, I will, help and do it. But I use my common sense, and I said, I'm not playing this game anymore. I'm going to challenge this. I'm going to step away from it. I'm not going to live this way. And at the very start of all this, I kind of, along with a few others, we sparked an idea, and we called it Bring It to the Doors. We went to Leo Varadkar's house, and we went to Stephen Donnelly's house 2 or 3 times.
Oh, right, you went there, did you? Wow, wow.
We went to Houlihan's house. We went to we went to Roderick O'Gorman's house, and I really
Did you get invited in for tea?
Well, not particularly, but like we didn't, like, you know, lots of people were afraid of this stuff, but like, you know, you do, like, there is a book called on bunreact now, and it's called Constitution of Ireland, yeah. And in that book, you have the rights of freedom of assembly and to, you know.
Exactly.
So I was quoting that when I was quoting it from the Blue Book. Don't get me wrong. When we were doing the Bring It to the Doors, but I didn't get any hassle off any guards or anything like that. I did get the glass-eyed stare many times. But you know, it's at that time I thought many people would join in. And it didn't seem to happen, and here we are 3 years later, and you know, if we had you know, even the first week we had 20, 25, second week we had 20, 25, and it kept going, and then it would dwindle a little bit, because it's hard to give up what we're doing on a Sunday morning, you know, every Sunday morning.
Yeah, it's a big thing out of your life, isn't it?
It's a big thing, especially at the time I was hanging around with a chap called Robert, and he wasn't driving, you know, and then I was going every Sunday morning. I'd go from where I was, and I'd pick up Angela Ray, who I was talking about, Bridget Scanlon, and they were both fighting tussle at the time. They're both friends, and they've both been abused by the system. Let's not beat around the bush. On my watch, I have to think about this all the time. Bridget Scanlon's in a prison tonight, and you have so-called activists and freedom fighters who don't, who would rather spend time making content, slagging each other, or trying to raise money. And Bridget is still in the cell, and she hasn't harmed anybody.
Right, Jesus.
You know, she's been in prison many times. I asked her to her face one time, Bridget, have you got any criminal record from the past? And I think she said she was caught when she was a teenager, or late teens anyway. She was caught driving with no insurance, and I think that's about it for her.
The poor dear. We've all done that. We've all done that.
So when I see activists still sitting at home, still talking about this is the only way to do it, step out of the system, deregister. What about Bridget Scanlon? What's that going to do? What's fucking sailing up the river in Limerick going to do? What's asking people to subscribe to your Substack while you write letters about it? What's it going to do? If it's not ultimately about getting we the people to, at least some of us, doesn't need many of us, if we can get 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 of us to congregate at some stage and put aside all the bullshit and all the differences and just keep the eye on the prize. And if we can send that message out and keep going, I believe there's space for the people's movement in this country. How we're going to do it, I don't know, because, you know, if you try start it, people will say you're a shield, you're this, you're that. If I do it, you know.
And what do you make of all these activists who are going around, like the likes of your Andy Heismans and your Flaherty's, and do you have any take on these guys? Do you trust them?
You see, the reason I stepped away from the online world is because I've had experience. I've met Darren Flaherty. I've spent time in his company. He got me on the road last year when I was sacked by the HSD. Darren came down here and fixed the car that I had got off a friend. The friend gifted me his dad's car. His dad died, and he still had his car, a 01 car, and I was off the road because the HSD had sacked me and I had no money and stuff. So got the car, and Darren came down and stayed with me and fixed my car and wouldn't take a shilling off me. And I spent time with Andy as well. And as I said to you earlier on, I try and see the goodness in the people, and I respect Andy's work ethic and his drive. There are things I don't like about the way he conducts himself, but it's not up to me to spout that all over the internet. When I see him and we have a chat face to face someday, maybe we'll talk like men. And I'll say, Andy, you can maybe do this a little bit or that a little bit. But, I mean, he's doing more than I am in terms of activism, so who am I to slander him, you know? And there's many Christians out there in the field as well, and people who praise Jesus Christ. And You know, if you're really following the words of Jesus and you're understanding, I'm not really a Bible man. I'm more of a kind of spiritual man. I know of all religions and I've tipped my toes into them, but I don't put myself in a box, so to speak. But I do understand I'm from a Christian nation fundamentally, you know. But if only more Christians would conduct themselves like Christians, we do a lot
My
better, you know.
blazing stars.
You know.
Yeah, I have lots of Christians in my family. I'd be the same as yourself. I wouldn't I wouldn't be. I don't do much of the Bible, right? I read it, and I'm quite knowledgeable about it, like, you know. But it's like it's not my thing. It's not my thing
Yeah, well,
because
that's fair enough.
my research.
That's your thing. But my thing is, if
Yeah,
you're going to be preaching the word of Jesus Christ, and you're saying you are a divine man or woman from God, and you believe in some kind of creator, Jesus Christ, I believe, was the ultimate activist. He was taking on the money men. He was turning upside down tables and going into temples, and he was, I believe, trying to. When people are on the journey, I believe they need to try. If they're going to be into the Christianity, they need to try and reach Christ consciousness,
but are
which
you not?
is
Don't you get the sense, though, Donnacha, that like a lot of the drive these days seems to be to evangelize the Christian community and prepare them for this war, which has been planned. Like the way the World War One, World War Two was already planned well in advance, and World War III is on the way, and it's going to be a war between the Christians and the Muslims. Like,
I think I think as a human race, we're constantly in a state of war. It's just how we perceive it to be. What we see on the news, what they call the war, what information we get. But in reality, there's wars all over Earth every single day in different parts. You know, war, it doesn't stop. It just we have a very good quality of life which has been passed down to us by our ancestors. You know. And we believe there's a book that was left to us by our ancestors, which is called on bunreact, which is the Constitution. Again, I'm not here to preach to people or anything like that, but where I come from is I parked that one aside a long time ago when I understood that it was a factual document and it existed, and that is the Constitution of this nation.
But clearly, but you're talking about the 1937 bunreact na hÉireann there. Now, I've read the 1919, which would have been the original document. Now, and I remember when I read the 1919, I was just in awe at that particular document because it was precisely.
Which one is that, Jimmy?
The 1919 one.
The 1919 Constitution.
Yeah, but which one? Which one? Because there's two.
Is there
There's
two?
The IRB. There's the IRB 1919 Constitution.
Get closer to the mic there, Anthony. Get closer to the mic there, Anthony.
Oh, there's actually two 1919 constitutions, yeah.
Right.
There's the IRB Constitution, which is this one, right?
Hold on, I'm going to put you. I'm going to put you up on full screen there. I'm going to put you up on full screen so that we can see what you're talking about.
All right. So there's this one. It's the IRB's Constitution, right? And it's the Constitution of the Republic of Ireland. And if anybody in this chat has been doing their homework over the last couple of years, we all know that the Republic of Ireland is actually corporation. It's a business. So
that's right.
This here is the Constitution of that business that the IRB are using today. But then you have the original. This is the Cló Gaelic minutes of 1919, the very first Dáil, and here you have bunreact Dála Éireann, and there's 6 articles. There's actually 6 articles, but there's 5 that they use. And those 5 articles.
6 articles.
Yeah. Those 6 articles are Article 1 deals with Dála Éireann. Article 2 is the Ministry of Dála Éireann. Article 3 is the chairman of the Dáil. Article 4 is finance, and Article 5 is amendments. And so when people talk about constitutions and the 1919 constitution especially, you know, I don't know which one. For me, it has to be the minutes of the Dáil, the bunreact Dáil Éireann that was written in Clog Gaelic. I don't know if that's the one you're referring to, Jimmy, is it?
It's not, because the ones I have access to, I haven't got access to the books, but I've read the PDFs. I don't think the one I'm referring to is the one by the IRB, which I don't have a lot of time for. I don't have much time for the IRB, but I think if I remember correctly, the original Constitution had a load of really good articles about how to bootstrap a nation who was coming out of a state of war, where everybody got land, and it was all geared towards getting people motivated to get the country sustainable and get it running and moving again, right? And I think it was laid out, but like it was kind of like.
Will you send me on? Will you send me on the PDF, Jimmy, after, or when you ever get a chance? And if you can
I will, yes.
I'll have a look at it, please, brother. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can't trust. I find it hard to trust anything that you get online these days, and it's getting very, very hard to find. I was going out. I was trying. It's very, very hard to find the original information that I had access to back then, like, which was about maybe 15 years ago. So
everything I have was original. Like I have the original. They're all originals, you know, from back in 1919. The 1919 Constitution is an original. You know, the original 1922 Constitution, the Free State Constitution, they call it. So that's what we had the Civil War over. So there's, you know, there's so much. I suppose
the 1922, Anthony, Darren, that was when that was when we had to retake an oath to King George, wasn't it?
That's right. Article 17 was the oath to the king. Yeah. It states in it that anybody that's kind of like joining up with, or anybody joining the politics, especially, that they have to swear in this oath, and it's, you know, it's I, whoever it may be, do solemnly swear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the Irish Free State, by law established. I also will be faithful to King King George and his heirs and successors. So there's a big, that's the Civil War. That's what happened over in that, Jimmy, you know.
Yeah. How did that come about, Darren? To refresh our memories, like, you know, was that a threat of war, or was that like our own brown shirts just deciding
Well, wasn't it like wasn't the Civil War? What happened wasn't it? Collins was given supposedly he was given an ultimatum, I suppose, and he was told, if you don't if you don't take them out, they were all in the forecourts at the time. It would have been, I suppose, that the IRA men and the Free Staters were across the other side, and he was given an ultimatum, is what we're being told, and but at the end of the day, he shot on his own men with British artillery, and he was in a British uniform. There's reports of, you know, IRA men getting blown up on that bridge that day, with bombs being put down their cacks, like, and sent across the bridge, and when they were coming closer to the forecourts, those bombs were detonated. So Free State men were blown up by IRA men, you know, and it's much like what's happening today, Jimmy, only for we haven't got the bombs. They're all it's all online, and it's all
information war.
You know, and I think, like, it's much the same, you know. COVID and all that stuff has brought all that about with families and friends and stuff. So it's just about finding a way out of all that now. Like, you know, like, I'm blue in the face talking about constitutions, man, if I be honest, boy. I'm speaking about for the last few years, and like, you know, it doesn't seem to get any difference, you know. It's the same thing there, like, all the facts, everything is there, and up to now it hasn't been disputed. It hasn't been, nobody's been able to say, here's my paperwork to say that your paperwork is null void. Like, that hasn't been done. We're able to produce the paperwork to say that on bunreact 1937 63 article is the full force of law in this country today. And there's the website there that people can go over and look at that if they want there, www.bunreact1937.ie.
Yeah, we'll get that up. Like, there's a private chat there. There's a private chat
Yeah.
there, Darren. If you want to put the link in there, I'll put it into the chat here for you,
Yeah.
so that people can get redirect. Because there is some good information on that site. I just don't
There's
have it
loads.
open at the moment. Hold on, I might have it here close by. Who knows? I might have it close by.
I have it there. I'm throwing it into the group there now, into the chat. So.
Oh, good man, good man.
Oh, lads, you can go over. There's plenty of good information over there. And if anybody any questions, like, you can more than welcome to ask. You know, that's the thing. And if anybody wants to meet, you know, we're up. Myself and Donnacha and inour are up for meeting anybody and sitting down having a chat with anybody. And the information that we've gained over the last while, we're willing to pass it on to others, like, because it's the only way that I believe that this is going to be won as a collective. We all have to put our differences aside and come together with the one goal of removing the head of the snake, removing this government, getting them out of there. And until that's done, until people step aside together and start coming together anyway, I think we're fighting losing battles. So you're better off looking after your own mental health and trying to look after your own areas, you know.
But we have a serious issue, though, Darren, don't we? Where the government is not the problem. The problem is that the corporate interests have taken over all a few key areas of government, like, you know. And
I go as far as just throwing something in here now. This is just a thought. Maybe the people are the problem.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Actually,
Donnacha, maybe we're the problem, you know, for allowing this stuff to continue, and more people come out and people start following new groups, and you know, people need to realize we are the people, all of us, you know. And as soon as we can get some kind of conversation in regards to the deregistering group, the 37 bunreact group, the 1919 constitution, and we're fighting about what's really the way, but the machine rolls on day after day after day after day, and we're all stuck in an online world.
So what are your thoughts then on the deregister thing? Like, because I don't buy into it, right? But myself personally,
I don't. It's not for me. But come here again. I think we need to allow people, if that's what they feel they need to do. But what I would say to them people, just because you deregister and you step out of the system, you think you step out of the system, if you step out or whatever. Bridget Scanlon is still in prison tonight. You know, the hospital services still roll on. The immigration services, they still roll on. All these deals with the private hospitals during COVID. Now the hoteliers are all making deals with the government for mega millions. And
to house foreign people, like, of mainly male fighting age men, and it seems like we're heading towards a kind of a nexus point where we're going to be facing a war here in Europe, like, and it's not going to be
just God forbid after 2-3 years of activism, God forbid the state brought in another lockdown this winter and start just imagine it, how embarrassing it would be, because we're all so detached from each other. We should have used these last 2 or 3 years to create people's assemblies in towns and villages all over the place, to get after the county councillors, to get after the senators in a peaceful way. And that's ultimately what me and Darren are going to try and do, I suppose, where we are. We're going to try and use the mindfulness, obviously, because if you go into where we are living locally, we've been doing protesting online and travelling out to meet people. But where we're living locally, if you spoke the way we speak to these people, you'll scare them off in 30 seconds.
Yeah, you can't. Like, that's. I know what you're talking about here, Donnacha, because, and I know this from personal experience, that, like, a lot of the people they're not where we are. Like, the vast majority are not where we are. We have been commuting. This is what we do here on this channel. We commune with each other here because there's nobody else to fucking talk to, and there's only a few heads, like, local here that I could talk to, who even have the vaguest idea of what's going on. A lot of them don't even want to think about it. You know?
Yeah, it's a hard one because it's. I do see the signs. I was up in Ballymun there a few weeks ago. Ballymun says now outside the Garda station, and I seen a sign across the road. One of the signs. No, they had the signs across both sides of the road, and there was about 15 or 20 of us there, and the sign said, "We are the 90%." And I thought to myself, "Are we? Are we?" You know, because it's kind of if you were to go up into the heavens and observe the nation and the freedom fighters and the activists or the patriots, call them whatever you will. If you went up and looked down on them, you'd be quite embarrassed looking at the setup. You know, we should have a very strong people's movement by now. There hasn't been any attempt at it yet.
I think it's there. I think it's there because, and I'll tell you why. Because when I go out, and I don't go far, right? I don't go very, very far, Donna. I go into the shops. I go just to my job, and I just meet just ordinary locals, and I'm always probing them, right? Always probing them, and just seeing where they're at, like in their headspace, and just engage and talk. And everybody that I talk to knows shit ain't fucking right. Like they know.
Yeah, they do. But you know, unfortunately, most activists haven't focused their efforts into their local communities and sparked something in their local communities. If they had to put all the effort they put into the online and the going outside their communities to protest, maybe we missed the ball there. You know. So, what me and Darren are trying to do, I suppose, is send out a message of, look, if you don't realise how big the problem is as of yet, and you're not willing to stand with people that you don't necessarily need to be friendly with. I don't need to be everybody's friends, you know. I have enough of them. So that's where when I'm striking up conversations with people now and into the future, unless they're willing, unless they really see for what it is and are willing to get active tomorrow. Like if I got a call to now for something, I'd be gone. Like, and you try to organise meetings and people pull out late and people don't turn up, and then you know I text you on Telegram and then fucking you get it going for it's just a repeating cycle. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to change that. So I think maybe if we got active and done something differently, got into our communities, and as I said, them people that you meet, I meet them all the time in the garage, the girls in the garage. We have conversations now, not on the scale that I would normally have with you or Darren, but they're touching into it, and you get the feedback. They feel it. But there is really no local representation where I am, really, to be honest with you. Independently, I can't think of any.
No, there's not actually.
Any independent groups anywhere. So I was talking to a girl yesterday, Sharon Brown in Limerick, lovely girl. I met her last year doing the Sovereign Voyage at the time, and she's the same. She was hanging out with Andy and doing the thing, and then she had a few questions and then didn't like the reaction, so now she's not with Andy. And I was saying to her, look, you just need to activate Sharon in Limerick. That's all you can do. Like. So you get your little town sorted, even if you start it and get 6 or 8 or 10. Get it going, do it once a week. No, you don't even have to protest. You just have to find the people out there. Find the people out there who are interested in social affairs and political affairs and who would like change, and get them to you. You don't have to be screaming about fucking Bill Gates or anything
that's
like that.
100% for sure, and that's what I do. I'm not an activist.
Cost of food. The winter's coming. Eat or heat. That's going to happen again. The hospitals. So this is just like a circle that just is going to keep going around and around unless we change something.
Unless we start talking to each other, Donnacha, right?
We have to start talking to each other with the knowledge that our nation is going under very quickly, and we pass this on, and we'll be history someday. I think we're already in trouble, though, Donnacha. Anyway, with the way
and like this, we got a lot of people, a lot of so-called activists in this country jumping up and down about the immigration issue, but they're not looking at the big picture either. And we have a demographic tsunami on the fucking way here, because people have not been making children, and this is the core of a big goddamn issue which is about to hit us now very, very shortly, where it's not the governments that are making us extinct. We've done it to ourselves, because we want this grand lifestyle of the big houses, and but to have all of that, we got to have two people bloody working in a goddamn family. You don't have time for children, so you're not going to make them. We're going to focus on our goddamn careers first. We'll put the children thing off till we're 40, and then all of a sudden you find out when you're 40, oh shit, man, you've missed that fucking boat, man. So we have a problem. We have a demographic problem here. We've kind of extincted ourselves, and this is not just Irish people.
Our culture is in danger.
Yeah.
Our tribe, our race, call it what you will. As you say, demographically, people don't look at the goings on of a lot of people don't look at the goings on. As you were saying earlier, this is generational. This has been planned for a long, long, long time. And what you have at the moment is you have people who are reacting to the bombs that the system are dropping in front of them, be it the race divide, be it the RTE. It's all bullshit. It's all
COVID.
It's all
everything.
Just point. It's all Zelensky. It's all just crap. It's all just crap. Our people are being, as you say, we are at the lowest rate ever in the history of this land, and it's a long history. It goes back thousands and probably millions. I don't know exactly how long, but long time. And we're at the lowest rate ever of women in the 30s having children. Ever.
Earlier on there about the abortion rate, they're talking about how many abortions that they've had in 2023, and it's fucking sickening, you know. It's sad, like.
Yeah, well, the best thing we can do is promote, try and find a way of living outside the system, because it's going to exist there, you know, parallel. Let's for a while, yes. But we need to find a way of providing a place for future mothers and fathers to cohabitate and have children, and have many children if they want. It's the best form of activism you could do, is get yourself 10 little babies, call them all Irish names, get a couple of acres, get a couple of pigs, get chickens, step out of it, you know, and we need to provide a way of, because, like, you know, technically I'm homeless as well. Like, you know, I have a beautiful woman and I stay with her most of the time. But, you know, if that was to break up tomorrow, which it won't, hopefully. But if it was, I'm in there now again on the arse, you know. But I think I'd be okay. We have abundance here, and we need to remember that, you know. The universe has abundance for us if we tune into that frequency. So we need to get cracking on the community gardens. We need to find a way of living for future generations to have babies, because if they don't, we don't. Previous generations have let it got so bad that we're at the worst rate of pregnancy ever.
Yeah, they blame Gen Z and all the.
It's all to do with houses, man. It's to do with houses. People can't afford houses. They can't move in together. They can't afford children in the rat race.
That's true. I've heard recently some astonishing numbers that a huge proportion of over 30s are still at home with mommy and daddy. Like, you know,
we need, including my brother. We need to find a way of challenging the system by letting the Irish people go at it like rabbits for a couple of generations, you know. And
well, I'm confident it will happen. I'm totally confident.
We can only encourage it, but we need to find places for people to live. You know, people living in hotels and emergency accommodation, they're not going to settle down and have a family. Stress kills. You know, you need to carry a baby and to deliver a baby. You need to be, you know, somewhat grounded in a consistent bed, a bit of healthy grub, a bit of sleep, somewhere you can. You know, you'll be able to rear that child, you know. And at the moment, I don't know. We have the highest. We've also got the highest ever percentage of young people on antidepressants ever.
I believe that. Yeah, I believe that.
No.
Opioids are a huge problem.
We've got a huge mental health problem. We've got emigration. People don't think about emigration. It's not an old thing. I know lads living in Australia now who would love to be home here today, but unfortunately, the quality of life they have over there, working the job and the barbecues and the sun, and they can't even get it. Can't even rent a place here, you know. So what happens then is other people come over, economic migrants come over and take the cities, and that's what's happening, isn't it? Let's be honest. If you walk around Dublin City today, you won't see many young Irish families living in the city centre.
Dublin. I think I hate going to Dublin now. It's unfortunate. Like, you know, it's I just can't stand going into the centre of Dublin these times. I won't go near it. I just want to puke when I go in there. Just looking around, and the depravity, how drugs have because, like, being a former addict, I recognize a junkie straight away when I see one, right? And Dublin city centre is just decimated.
And one thing you'll notice as well, if you actually pay attention to it, 90% of them will be Irish people who are suffering the drug addiction and the malnutrition. You'll see the jaws coming in. They're like something from the famine days, you know. We're just so used to scandals that we had food queues last winter that were the longest queues in generations for food, you know, up in Dublin. We've got the biggest housing, we've got the biggest homelessness numbers ever, we've got the lowest birth rate ever, we've got the highest suicide rate in a long time, we've got the highest young people on depressants, emigration is huge, and Irish people, including myself, find it really hard to stay outside the system and not be on their arse, because you've got a culture of squealers then as well, who squeal on you if they see you doing something, getting an extra 50 quid a week doing something. You've got people squealing on each other if they feel the bleeding back or the swimming pool in the summer. So you've got this weird civil war politics 100 years later. It's still ingrained in the brain. People don't trust each other. Some people would rather it's like that, build someone up and knock them down. Ireland's known for being a big nation of begrudgers.
We are terrible. We're terrible. We're the worst ever.
I can guarantee you now there'll be people that would if you show people this podcast tonight now, just us four here talking, a lot of people would be slagging us and having a go at us, saying, who the fuck do they think they are? Who are these? Are these all bleeding messiahs or what's going on? So straight away, when you try and talk about the real issues, because people, as we were saying earlier on, they get sidetracked with the bombs that the media and the state drop around us to take our attention off the fact that our women are not reproducing babies at the lowest rate ever. Our young are killing themselves. They are malnutrition, unhealthy, walking around the streets. And
do we have any data? Do we have any data on the suicide rates? Any decent data on suicide
not really
rates?
Since the whole Wuhan flu thing, they conceal them, I believe. You know.
Right. It makes sense. It makes sense, actually.
Jimmy, I reckon the suicide rate here in this country.
It's up to us. It's up to us now at this stage, because we know the system is not working. We know about the mental health and the suicide epidemic, and we know about all this. So I believe we're going to have to start maybe providing our own care for our people. And people may have to give up their own time and out of the goodness of their heart start doing a bit of counselling. I mean, I could try. I've got experience from my job. I talk to anybody if they want to ring me or meet me for a coffee.
I could try as well too.
I have no problem, you know. I can talk to you and let you bounce off me, and I'll give you my opinion if you want. If anyone's struggling out there, no bothers. But we're going to need to provide this, like, is there even a phone line that we know all this, and we haven't even created a phone line yet for people, you know? We still let the Samaritans do it and all these people. and fucking McCready and Simon
but
community.
at the moment though, we're just in the networking phase, because like at the same time, as the problems become more apparent, like, you know, down the line, it's going to be more important that like people have networked and are willing to sort of like step up, like, you know, like yourself. I'd be willing to step up.
The idea. That's the idea behind Darren. Darren's an ex-addict, so why can't me and Darren start a chat morning in our local and do it on a Wednesday at 1 o'clock?
Fair play to you, Darren. Fair play to you, Darren.
Why can't you do
you're
that?
10 years. Darren is 10 years clean now, man. Well fucking done, bro. Well done, man.
It's a big challenge, yeah.
That's no small feat. And for anybody who thinks,
if you've ever tried to give up smoking or taking sugar in your tea, then think about how addictive heroin is, and then think about that.
I'll tell you. Here we go. I'll drink to Darren here.
I've been lucky. Man. I've been blessed. You know, I've been lucky. You know, yeah, I have a good mate. He's a good mate around.
Get a room, will you? Next up, we'll have a live sex show.
Yeah, that's after 12.
Racoons always do an after show, and it's almost like a live counselling session because there's so many crazies in there. You know, it's like we could have an online counselling service.
Yeah. But we've all seemed to gravitate towards each other since all of this what's happened, you know, like up 90% of the people I've met throughout this, like, have all had some kind of trauma in their life, you know. Yeah. And I believe that's a big factor of why today
we're all black sheep.
Different groups can't get on because of the amount of trauma that's gathered up amongst them all, you know. They all have
between the opinions and
exactly, as a collective. Yeah, as a collective, we all have our own things going on.
We all have our own baggage.
We sure do.
So, well, I think that the basics is that the ground forces are gathering, right? We may be small in number just at the moment, like, but I can see the numbers kind of growing. Like, there's a load of people getting ready to step up. Nobody knows what the fuck is coming. Like, we have a kind of an idea.
I just hate to see us networking so long that it's something that we just keep reacting, because at the moment we're reacting and we're not strategizing, or, you know, there's no reason why we shouldn't be having monthly meetings and, you know, the Hill of Tara, for example, or Vinegar Hill, or, you know, we've done it before.
And I think those meetings, though, aren't those meetings? I think those meetings are happening, like, but I think they're happening on a more decentralized basis, like.
Well, they need to, yeah. They need if people can take control of their own towns and their own minds.
This is what's happening. I think this is what's happening. I think it's like because we're decentralized, we're a small nation here, right? And we're not seeing any grand movements like the so-called stupid MAGA movement over in America and populist, even though it does exist there is a populist movement, but I don't think that's organic. I think that's orchestrated, and I think that's the evangelists sort of like trying to polarize Christianity in a sense and get them ready for a war with the Muslims, which is what the agenda will be. But it's us like who don't buy into that bullshit, who are going to be here to pick up the pieces after it all goes fucking pear-shaped, man, you know.
Well, you see, they pretty much run the course of the Protestants versus the Catholic. So throw another religion in there and mix it up and spice it up, and this is what they do, you know. But we need to we need to get real very soon, you know, in terms of, I don't know how it's going to be done. As you say, they're out there, the people are out there. I felt that during the COVID, the yellow vests one, and there was thousands at some stages, but it was just with, you know, agent provocateurs or different agendas or whatever. People like to take control of things, you know. They like to own it.
There was one yellow vest protest in particular that I was fascinated by, and I think Dara was up at one, and Dara and his crew were counter-protesting the yellow vest movement, and there was a row going on between
I was there.
Were you there, man? Holy shit! What the fuck was going on? That was just nuts, man. What the fuck was going on there?
That was basically Dara and Andy at the time, basically calling Glenn Miller out as a, you know, because Glenn was going through a bit of stuff there, and you know, there was opinions going out about Glenn, and then fucking the boys decided, here, this is fucking Shield Central. We're going to take this, you know.
Right.
That's what happened there. Yeah, that's what happened there. Yeah.
It looked like a dog and pony show, to be honest. I was looking at it like
some of it looks like Father Ted. Yeah, some of it when you look back. I seen the Sovereign Voyage there the other day finishing up, like, and then the people came around the Rainbow Brigade came around the corner, and it was down
with this sort of thing.
It was kind of awkward to watch, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of awkward, like, you know.
Not the sort of thing you'd expect to be watching adults doing, like, in a sense, like,
just fucking walk away, man. You know.
If you were 16 or 17, okay, I get it. You're young.
But you see, that's what happens when you get pack mentality takes over even the best of us, you know. So you get a pack on one side and a pack on the other, and it's polarizing us. It's you know, that there is the fucking polar opposite.
That's the communist agenda. That's the communist agenda.
That's the thing. We're all getting labelled with this. You have provocateurs there, and we're all getting labelled as angry far right scum who are turning on old people and doing all this stuff, you know. When in reality,
we're the only ones who care.
We're just individuals who want to get our lives back in order, you know.
There is no, actually, I've come to the conclusion, but there is no far right, and there's no far left, and there's only the center of the road, and far left and far right are just two cheeks of the same fucking arse.
It's all nonsense. Yeah, it's all nonsense. Yeah, it's all nonsense.
Yeah. I don't do politics at all myself personally. Like, although I follow it, I follow politics intently.
Well, you do. You know, people need to stop saying that as well, that they don't do politics. That's what we're talking about tonight, is politics. Like.
Oh yeah. But I don't do it personally. I don't do it personally, but I keep a close eye on what's going on because it helps me navigate through, you know.
Our politics, so our rights are politics.
Yeah. So do you think now, going back to the Constitution, are there any solutions in the Constitution? Because I'll tell you why. I was following a case there, like Gemma Doherty, I follow kind of like on the periphery. I like her. She's a bit too Christian for my liking, but I like her. She's okay, man. She talks about real topics, like, and herself and John Waters took several constitutional cases to the courts, and they got shut down. Do you have any thoughts on where they went wrong?
They used that book.
They used this book.
Used that book. They were using the wrong book.
Yeah, because that book is a commerce. Anybody that's been doing research book now over the last while know that this book is a book of business, a book of commerce.
Yeah, that's all.
So they need to be stepping into the courts and stepping into Irish law using this. And that's what I believe.
That's the original bunreact in 1937 there, is it?
Invoking the articles.
Yeah.
So you do believe that there's solutions in that? You do believe that there's solutions?
Well, look, as far as I'm aware, Jimmy, that there is, yeah, right? Now, I'm not saying I'm right. I know everything because each day we're learning, right? But where my learning has brought me to now, I believe that, yeah, there is weight in this, there is power in this. It's just about setting in and stepping into that and setting your jurisdiction and becoming that, like, yeah. It's all about what you say, you know. You have to know, you have to have that knowledge of.
See, people have to realise most statutes are repugnant to the Constitution.
Yes.
Law, they're repugnant to the Constitution, so if it's not written in that, it doesn't.
It's not law. Yeah. I hear what you're saying. Yeah. But they're trying to. But I've been following Anthony's channel or Darren's channel there over the last few months. I've been noticing that, like, you were making posts about how there's an attack on the Articles 40 through 43.
Yeah, that's right. Our fundamental rights. There is a track at the moment. You see, at the moment you have this 39th Amendment that's coming up, and it's the Housing for All bill, right?
Which is,
Yeah.
So what they're trying to do in that is this. They're using this word, the common good, but they're saying like your property. It gives them the right to delinquish the amount of property that you can have as an Irish man or an Irish woman
for the common good.
right? So like.
So
We need to be aware of what it is like, and we need to be more
especially
aware of
the wording. They use the term residents, but they're not talking about people in this country. They're talking about everybody in the whole world.
Whose plants extracts there, could I ask you, Jimmy?
That's Paul Coddy. Paul Coddy, an old friend of mine way back in the day. Yeah.
Paul is saying 1937 was and still is a crown state. Would you show us evidence of that, Paul, please, man? Because there's a lot of people that's able to make these factless statements, but when it comes to the crunch, they can't show any evidence of it. It's easy for me to stand here and I could say the sky is pink outside and you know the sun is beaming out there right now, but to be able to pull that curtain and show you is a different thing.
Hey, we got a response. Ask Darren, what is the title of the state on the front of that rule book on bunreact? Ask him, what is the title of the state on the front of that rule book on bunreact? What is the title on the front?
What's the title of the state?
What is the title of the state?
The title of the state. There's no.
Look, Paul is saying they know me, Kimmy, but he means Jimmy. They know me, so obviously you know Paul. I think you know Paul Coddy. I think you know him.
I spoke to him.
Dundalk, that way, is it?
Yeah. I think
Dundalk.
Is it? Yeah, I think so. That general neighborhood. Yeah,
I know Paul. Paul was on the group there. Paul was on the group. You know Paul about the Bunreact brothers, so don't be up here talking your nonsense, man, please. Show us some evidence, man.
Oh, we got some tension in the house tonight. That's just what we love. Excellent, excellent.
We're all for a chat, man, and I'm all for having an old chinwag boy and a sit down and trying to tease out who's right and who's wrong, but when I'm coming with factual documents, please come to me with factual documents to show me. You don't just come with factless statements. You get me?
But anyway, look, we can do this again because we're approaching the 2-hour mark here now, and we usually knock off around the 2-hour mark. But you will come back, won't you?
100%. Yeah, we'll definitely be back on.
Anytime.
It's
good to talk. It's good to talk.
Very quick 2 hours, actually.
It flew by.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you, because I've been finding it so hard to find people that I want to talk about. This used to be a conspiracy channel, and now it's to me. And I'm not a conspiracy. I used to be conspiracy nutcase years ago. Now I couldn't be arsed anymore. I want to talk to ordinary fucking people, right? This is where I am. Like, so you will come back, and we'll talk more about on bunreact, like, and maybe.
Of course. Annie, I tell you what, one of the nights you give me a shout, and maybe next week or the week after we'll sort it out and we'll come on and we'll just talk about the bunreact, and I'll bring some documents and I'll show you some of the stuff, and we'll be able to organise it that we'll throw them up on the screen there so people can actually see what I'm talking about and that, yeah? Yeah. And we might even open up the lines as well too for anybody who wants to come in and challenge, so man. Paul. Definitely.
There you go. You got it's all good, like, so rather than just flitting about between text messages and stuff on the chat, because the chat can be confusing, man. And sometimes it's better just to discuss things in the open. And
course,
but at the same time, I want to. I know our time was short here tonight, so. I really appreciate you lads coming in and stepping up and coming in and just having the conversation. We discussed some really important topics here tonight. Some that are really close to my heart, like some are mental health, some are drug-related issues, and we've got society issues. And I don't think we're ready yet to be dealing with these matters just yet because not enough people are just where we are just yet. We need a few more on board, but that's coming.
Yeah, I just see Paul Cotty there saying that we never used that on bunreact in the courts. On bunreact was used in 2 court cases that I know of. I used it myself in my own court case where I was arrested with a hurl up on Grafton Street, and a friend of mine, Rory Bryan, used it in his court case where I witnessed the judge say that Roman civil procedure
does not
apply to I, and I being Irish national, living man. Yeah. So Paul, you know that, Paul. So don't be telling lies to the people who's on this here. Like, you know that you're on the group yourself, man. You were there on the group at the time the thing was going on. So, yeah, you're dead right, sir. The constitutional word is in syntax grammar. It's actually ASL, and does remove it from the page. So yeah, lads, there's a lot of stuff people know, a lot of stuff here, but there's like Paul there putting in that lies there and stuff like that. I don't like that. Like
anything in brackets gives it less power as well.
What's the name of the website, Darren? Give the name of the website out there if people want to check it out.
They're www.bunreact1937.ie.
Go in there, folks, and have a look for an hour with a cup of tea. Just have a gander.
Bunreact, BUNREACHT.
Click in the link there again, yeah.
Do, and I'll put it in because it won't show up as a link when I put it in. And I'll repost it, and it'll come up as an actual clickable link, so people don't have to copy and paste it.
Yeah, I think that should be it now. I think
it's not coming up.
Coming up as a link either there for me either. But if you just go into your whatever browser you're using and just type that in there, it'll come up for you. It'll bring you right to the main page, and you can.
I'm not even seeing it here. I should be able to copy and paste it there. Who are you in the chat?
Darren Anthony. You'll see me there, Darren Anthony. Yeah.
Why am I not seeing you in the chat there? I'm not actually seeing you in the chat, man.
No. Am I in there as Crazy Cat, maybe? I'm seeing here.
Bunreact, I should have this saved. Oh, hold on a second. 1937. Hold on. I found it. It was in. It was in my search history here. It was in my search history. All I had to do was just start typing. So, look, peeps. Here you go. Peeps. Go have a look at this. It's very, very interesting. So
yeah, the lads who website there, the lad Mark, Auntie, and Geraldine. There was a lot of effort and work. Rory, Brian put a lot of work into that website, lads. There's a lot of information in it, and it's all factual. So
it's worth a look.
Yeah, it's well worth a read. Go over and have a look. Very, very informative stuff. Like.
So on that note, we'll kind of like round it up now. Okay, we're now at the 2-hour mark. We're about 2 minutes off. There's an invite link here, right? There's because we normally have an after chat here. Now you don't feel that you have to stay for it if you want to get back to your lives, go back to your lives. But there's a link to the after chat, peeps. Anybody wants to come in we always have an after chat here because we counsel each other after the show, right? And that's where we drive each other up the fucking walls with bullshit, right? Maybe Paul should come in and get some counselling. Yeah. So, on that note, Donnacha, it was lovely to meet you, man. It was it was a pleasure talking to you. I would talk to you for days on end, and it'd be great.
Thanks very much. No problem, man. Well done for giving up a couple of hours of your life and doing something. I would encourage people who are watching this, go check the bunreact out. Check whatever you want out. But if you could please get active locally, start it in your own town. And it will start small, Just start it and create that activist movement in your town, I suppose. And step off line,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just try and get active, I suppose, in your area. That's all I'd say. Yeah. And it's been a pleasure, Jimmy. Thanks very much for having us on, man.
Nice to meet you.
And what's your name? What's Darren's good lady's name?
That's Emer.
Emer. It was lovely to meet you.
That's a Siamese twin.
It could be worse. There could be a legless trans Miss Thailand. You know, it could be worse. There, I see you now in the chat, Darren. Now you're showing up in the chat. Yeah. So on that note, I'll just wind it up there then, and thanks for everyone in the chat. Lovely cat. Look at that baby. My one is here dying. She's absolutely dying. And there's nothing I can do about it. I think she's just she's jet black like that little one there. Yeah. So that's
Dennis
another story.
Pussy, R.A.
I like a bit of pussy too.
That's not the only one with a pussy boy story, huh?
Okay.
My pussy, your pussy.
So listen, raccoons, much appreciated. Everybody in the chat, much appreciated. We will see you next Saturday night, 10 p.m. Don't forget Cookie and Pete on Monday and Wednesday, 8 p.m. Assuming Cookie doesn't take another night or two off. You got Dr. Robert on Tuesday nights, and you've got Steve Turgoose on Thursday night. Don't forget them. But then again, you just won't forget. We all know where we meet each other every fucking week. We have our nights. So we'll chat to you next Saturday night here at the usual time. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, Slán.
Slán.
Be good.